Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing What If Naruto Had the Ten Tails, the movie. I know you guys have been waiting for this movie, so here it is. I hope you guys really do enjoy this video. If you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe. If you're not sure about it yet, that's completely fine as well. Watch through some of my videos maybe. And then, if you want to, you can subscribe. It's completely free, helps me out a ton. I mean, I'm sure you've heard every YouTuber say it, but it is true. So, I don't want to waste your time too much. Let's get right into this video. Okay guys, me from the future here. I just want to say, there was someone who commented on the community post that I made about this video. I'm pretty sure the name was Chuunin. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but he said it would be really funny if the Ten Tails was just like really nice for absolutely no reason. So you know, I just want to point that out. That would be really funny, and honestly, I'm probably gonna include that somewhere in this what if. Probably not in this part, probably, but you know, I might include that somewhere. So yeah, just as a joke, of course. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Back to the video. So this what if starts off on the day that Naruto is born. A lot of you guys might be wondering, what are you gonna do for the backstory? Because it's incredibly difficult to make somebody the Ten Tails in jerky, especially Naruto, and it's really hard to find a backstory for this. So I originally thought, you know what, I'll just say, yeah, Naruto's the Ten Tails in jerky, no backstory. He just is. Don't question it. That's what I was gonna say, but I think I found something better. Basically, instead of the normal thing where Obito came with the Nine Tails and attacked the Leaf Village, this time Obito came with a different plan. Because in this alternate reality, the Akatsuki were a lot more successful, and they were actually able to obtain almost all 9 of the tailed beasts, before the day that Naruto was born. All of the other beasts obtained. And now the only step left was to get the Nine Tails, which was the only one they didn't have, and then use that and create the Ten Tails. Which is why on the day that Naruto was born, Obito came and was able to get the Nine Tails from the Leaf Village, as he put it into the Ghetto statue and summoned the Ten Tails. Now, after some fighting, a lot of fighting, the Leaf Village understood that they really don't stand a chance against the Ten Tails. So Minato decided to gather up all of the chakra he has and use the Reaper Death Seal to seal the Ten Tails inside of the young Naruto. Now, this was pretty crazy, and Naruto, after getting the Ten Tails inside of him, just the energy overload, like, almost killed him, because he's a baby. He can't handle having the entire Nine Tails within him. But, you know, since it was the Reaper Death Seal, and since the Ten Tails is keeping Naruto alive, the Ten Tails is both killing Naruto and also keeping him alive at the same time with the regenerative abilities and such. Anyway, Naruto now has the Ten Tails inside of him, and Minato immediately dies right after. Not only from the chakra exhaustion, from sealing away the Ten Tails, but more so because, well, he used the Reaper Death Seal, and because of that, he has to pay with his life. Anyway, after this, the Leaf Shinobi, such as Hiruzen, Kushina, and those people are able to help fight off the members of the Akatsuki that showed up there. And in the battle, Kushina was killed by Obito. But to avenge Kushina, Hiruzen was also able to land a really strong hit on Obito, and basically, after a long amount of fighting, almost all the Akatsuki members were killed, and the only ones that remained were, the ones that we know to be in the Akatsuki now, who's one of the OG members of the Akatsuki? I don't know, the only ones that survived were the people like Nagato and Konan, and the people that have been in the Akatsuki for a long time, and also we see them in the Akatsuki during Shippuden. Those Akatsuki members obviously survive for plot reasons, but all the others die, and with that, and Obito being heavily injured, they decide to retreat. Now, we skip to a 5-year-old Naruto, who is now being trained by Hiruzen, living in Hiruzen's house, because unlike in the original where Hiruzen sent Naruto to live by himself, Hiruzen, knowing the capabilities of the Ten Tails, didn't dare let Naruto live alone in a house. Even though Hiruzen would send him off eventually, he decides not to do it yet, to at least let him control the Ten Tails, because if Hiruzen wasn't around constantly supervising Naruto, he could go on a rampage killing tons of villagers, which obviously Hiruzen didn't want. So as much as he did want to send him away, to live in his own house, he had to, he has his own duties as Hokage, so he did have to look after Naruto. The only thing, though, was Danzo. Danzo, being the idiot he is, sort of spread the information that Naruto was the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, and because of this, the people hated Naruto. Now, it wasn't like in the original where, Naruto was a Ten Tails Jinchuriki, but some people couldn't tell and the others didn't really care. No, Naruto had the Ten Tails, and it was very obvious to see. I mean, he had completely pale skin and white hair and all, the traits of a Ten Tails Jinchuriki, the signature, true seeking orbs, all of those things. And honestly, if you didn't believe that Naruto was the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, you were just dumb. And also, because the Ten Tails was so much bigger of a threat and killed so many more villagers, honestly, the villagers just hated Naruto way more than in the original. And unlike in the original, this time, he had 0 friends. Nobody. Not a single person. Not even Hiruzen truly viewed Naruto as a son, even though he had been living with Naruto for 4 or 5 years. I don't know how, that's around how old Naruto was at the moment. Now, every day, Hiruzen would train Naruto personally, just making sure he's powerful, and teaching him, mostly just teaching him stuff like chakra control and meditation. And although he does train Naruto's physical strength and intelligence as well, that's not the main thing he's aiming for, because Naruto, being a Ten Tails Jinchuriki, already has a huge amount of strength, and Hiruzen's main goal also isn't to make Naruto into a really strong shinobi, which he does want to do, but his main goals right now is, once again, to let Naruto have at least a little bit of control over the Ten Tails. Now, this isn't really easy, especially for a 5-year-old Naruto who is trying to control one of the strongest beings in the Naruto universe. like a lot of nights, he has nightmares and stuff where he sees the Ten Tails, as he has to fight to the death with the Ten Tails in his mindscape, as after dying a fast but still painful death, he would wake up, just wake up from the dream or the nightmare in his mindscape and just be like, what happened? And all the time, he would have moments where he just went out of reality and he saw the Ten Tails inside of its cage. And this was terrible for Naruto, like for his mental state, because not only did he have 0 friends and was hated by all the villagers, but also the Ten Tails was constantly tormenting him and making his life absolutely miserable. So this is how everything went on for years. Well, not years, but yeah, years actually, all the way until Naruto was gonna go to the academy. Now, on Naruto's first day of the academy, honestly, he wasn't that excited. Because normally in my what ifs, I'd make him super excited for the academy, but honestly, this Naruto just lacks motivation to do anything, really. The only things he gets fun from in this world is fighting and, combat and just doing things by himself and training, but he's never gotten any happiness out of socializing or being with somebody else because he never really got the opportunity to. So he always had he had developed a fear of being near a lot of people, and just because he was so used to having everybody absolutely despise him, it's just something that was completely different about Naruto, because normally he would be a kid who was really social and really excited about everything, but in this what if, it's just not how he is. He's basically depressed. And although Naruto doesn't necessarily have any friends in the academy, slowly over time, he will start to get to know some people that will just barely, not too much, but slowly start to get him out of this cycle he's in. And a big part of why the Ten Tails is able to exert so much control over Naruto is because he has no one to help him, except for Hiruzen, who really doesn't help him that much. His friends that he'll make will be his strongest help. Now, on his first day of the academy, Iruka says that, they can have some sparring because, well, why not? It'll be fun. Now, everyone is super excited for this, as Naruto's like, yay, I guess, but honestly, this is going to be a little bit too easy for me. It's not going to be that fun anyway. And that's just what he's thinking as he goes to the ring and watches all the other people fight, thinking, they're so weak. And finally, it's time for him and Sasuke to fight. Now, Naruto just steps into the ring, noticing that Sasuke just feels stronger than all the other opponents that he has seen fight so far. And just a little bit, he feels excitement. Just a slight amount of hope. Something that he's not used to feeling, as for a moment he's surprised. It feels good. It feels good, that feeling of being excited. Something he doesn't really get all the time, as he says, I hope he really is good. And suddenly, Iruka says, start, as they both run in right at each other, with Sasuke starting to attack Naruto first, but Naruto instantly dodging. And Sasuke is starting to get frustrated at Naruto for being able to dodge all of his attacks, starts to get, pretty annoyed and throws some kunais that he had in his pocket at Naruto. And Naruto, once again, is able to dodge all of these as Sasuke just stands there shocked. What is this kid with his incredible reflexes? He's able to dodge all of the attacks sent at him. As he said, "Fine, you want something strong? Here, I'll show you." As he starts waving hand signs and launches a humongous fireball in Naruto's direction. As Naruto just stands there, walking into the flames. As Sasuke's like, "What are you doing?" And Naruto says, "Your flames won't do anything to me." As he walks straight through the fireball, just tanks the entire attack that, if, at point blank range, could take out, even a Chuunin. And Naruto literally just walks right through it. Remember, Naruto is not even a genin. And because of that, this shocks even Iruka, as he just watches Naruto walking slowly towards Sasuke, who currently is just frozen in shock, just paralyzed, because he's for the first time in a while experiencing fear, but also anger, almost reminding him of his relationship with Itachi, how of what he did. But he throws away that thought and thinks, "There's no time to think now. I just have to beat him and prove I'm stronger." As he goes straight in at Naruto, full speed, taking out a kunai and slicing off his hand. As he says, "That should teach him." As he looks at Naruto with a hand cut off, and slowly he regains his senses. As everyone in the crowd just gasps, looking at the fact that Sasuke just cut Naruto's hand off. And even though they hate Naruto because he's the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, they're like, "Why would you cut off his hand? That's crazy." And Iruka is about to just end the match and be like, "Yo, that you went too far." And Sasuke immediately realizes what he did, and he's like, oh God, I think I went a little bit too far." But Naruto just casually stands there, as slowly his hand just regrows. As he walks towards Sasuke, says, "Honestly, you're not bad, but still, you don't stand a chance. I had high hopes for you, but honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. Good fight." As he just flicks Sasuke in the chest, sending him flying out of the ring and landing outside of the circle. As Iruka says, Naruto wins. As he's like, what is this power that Naruto is showing? He's just incredibly shocked. And with that, everyone in the school is already hates Naruto even more now for one, beating Sasuke, because all the Sasuke fangirls hate him now, but also because, Naruto is stupidly strong, and that just scares them, honestly. So once again, because of this being scared, this fight really just worsened his relationship with all the other students in the school, basically. But either way, Naruto doesn't really care about this, as the rest of the academy just goes on just like this, with Naruto acing everything all the time, except for the part with Jutsu, which for some reason he struggles at a lot. Now, you guys already know why this is. If half of the Nine Tails was able to interfere with Naruto's chakra so much that he couldn't perform a single jutsu, except for the multi-chakra jutsu, but we don't count that. We're talking about his time in the academy. So much that he couldn't perform a single jutsu. Then the entire Ten Tails being sealed within him should do so as well. Even with all of the training that he has been getting from the Hokage himself with chakra control and meditation since he was really young, he still heavily struggles with performing any type of jutsu that requires, chakra control. Now, of course, he has been training from a really young age at this, which is kind of why Naruto can perform jutsu. He can, but he just has a lot of difficulty doing so. So when the final day of the graduation exam comes around, Naruto is able to pass, but only just barely. And it's like, you know how in the original he was like, he did it, but it was so bad that they just had to like make him not pass, because it was just the clone he made was way too bad, and it went away after like a second. So Naruto in this one made a clone, and it was just barely able to get him to pass. So he passed, but not by a lot. So I mean, he is, why do I keep saying so? But either way, I mean, he is stronger than everyone else in the school, just he has difficulty performing jutsu due to the Ten Tails' interference. Either way, he goes home, at least satisfied with the fact that he was able to pass the graduation exam, and comes back the next day because, well, guess what? They're going to be learning their teams. Now, Iruka says that Team 7 will be Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. And you guys might be like, wait, why those three? Naruto is so strong, he shouldn't be paired with Sasuke, because the logic in the original was that Naruto had the worst score possible and Sasuke had the best, so they were on a team together. But this time Naruto is really strong, so that's not how it should be. Which is true, but Iruka really wanted to see Sasuke and Naruto work on a team together, because he thought it would be fun, and also he wanted those two to, learn to get along with each other and stuff. So Naruto technically got a terrible score and was probably the worst in the class in the graduation exam, so he did put them on the same team together, although he did know that Naruto was really strong and this wasn't the most fair team, but that's what he did either way. Now, Kakashi took a while to come, and they had to wait there for a long time, almost 2 hours, and all of the other teams, they got their senseis and they went off to do something, do something fun. But when Kakashi arrived, he was just like, oh, okay, yeah, sorry I was late, I got lost on the path of life, giving one of his lame excuses that, of course, nobody in the room buys. But either way, he's like, yeah, just meet me on the roof, we'll do something up there. And everyone's just like, yo, our sensei is kind of weird, bro. I'm not sure if I like him, but they have no choice, so they go up to the roof, and Kakashi says that now they'll be introducing themselves, with Sasuke doing his emo stuff, being like, I want to kill Itachi, blah blah. Sakura doing her thing, where he's just like, I want to marry a certain someone, looking at Sasuke. But when it's Naruto's turn, his goals are different. Now, he is a combination between Sasuke and OG Naruto, because at this point, Naruto being a lot more of a calm and strategic sort of person than in the original, because he's kind of not depressed, but he's a lot more sad than Naruto in the original. So because of that, Naruto isn't so enthusiastic about everything. He's just like, I don't particularly have any likes, although if I had to say, I would probably say training. and my dislikes are being in places with a lot of people. My goal is to become the strongest shinobi ever, and one day become Hokage and earn the respect of the people in the village. As Kakashi is impressed by Naruto's words, as it kind of like reminds him of something, he's like, can't understand exactly what it is, but he's like, this kid kind of reminds me of someone, is it? But either way, he's just like, yeah, those goals are pretty cool. Those goals are pretty good, not gonna lie. Okay. And he's like, yeah, well, I guess you guys will have to meet me at the training grounds tomorrow, so make sure not to eat breakfast, and yeah, see you there. Anyway, last time we left off, we were right around when Kakashi told everyone to meet him at the training grounds for the bell test. And with that, Team 7 headed off the next day to the bell test and ended up waiting for Kakashi for a couple hours. But eventually, Kakashi did end up arriving, and yeah. So basically, after arriving, Kakashi started explaining to them how the bell test works and taught them, how there were 2 bells, they had to get them. The person who didn't get a bell would go back to being an academy student. Pretty simple. Now, Sakura was like, but that means one person is gonna have to fail. But Kakashi's like, yeah, exactly. And he just said, start, as everyone went to hide. Now, everyone went to hide, including Naruto in this what if, because he had been personally trained by Hiruzen himself. And in fact, this Naruto had quite a lot of combat experience, because Hiruzen had sparred with him from time to time. And although Hiruzen didn't give him any special care or training, he did always make sure to train him and make sure he is in good shape, even if he didn't treat him especially amazing or anything. He didn't treat him like trash either. So because of that, Naruto, also because he has the 10 tails obviously, was extremely powerful. Just having the 10 tails in of itself makes you so extremely powerful, gives you a huge strength boost, healing boost, everything really. And Kakashi, looking at Naruto's appearance, was confused at first, but didn't really question it. And honestly, although Kakashi does understand that Naruto does have the 10 tails within him, because Danzo told everyone, he didn't predict for the 10 tails to make somebody look like a white reptile. Honestly, design choices were made by the writers of Naruto for what the 10 tails make someone look like, and I can't argue with them. So, yeah. But either way, back to the what if. The battle starts, and as it starts, Naruto dashes straight in at Kakashi, punching through him as Kakashi poofs into smoke, revealing that he was a shadow clone. As he steps out of the bushes and says, I see, this will be a tough fight. As he reveals his Sharingan, knowing the strength that the 10 tails possesses, and already from that one attack, seeing how powerful Naruto is. Now, they start getting into a battle with both of them dashing at each other with powerful attacks, and Kakashi landing a lot of strong blows on Naruto. But really, Naruto, even if they do even scratch him, he can easily heal with them, because, having the 10 tails in you literally makes you be if you lose a limb, you can regenerate that. It's really that powerful, which is what makes Naruto in this what if so OP. But The reason Kakashi even stands a chance with his Sharingan is because, well, he has way more combat experience and knowledge and battle IQ than Naruto. Because talking about brute strength, Naruto is way stronger than Kakashi. But Kakashi, instead of trying to keep up with Naruto's strength, he can use his smarts to his advantage and more like predict what Naruto's next move is going to be instead of trying to react to it. That way, being able to keep up with Naruto and still have the slight upper hand. Although this is still definitely a very close match. As Sasuke and Sakura just observe from the background, just looking at this battle that is going on. Now, after an entire 30 minutes of non-stop fighting, back and forth, exchanging fists with Kakashi started to get tired, starting to lose energy, realizing that he won't be able to keep this up. And he looked at Naruto, guessing that he must be very tired by now, if even he is starting to feel the fatigue. But looking at Naruto, he realized he was literally as energetic as he was before the battle started, if not even more, which shocked him definitely, but he wasn't too surprised either. And he tried retreating by using a substitution jutsu, but Naruto, just being naturally great at detecting chakra in this Ten Tails mode, was immediately able to sense where Kakashi went and continued fighting him, continuously pressuring him. And even if Naruto didn't have the skills or the technique, Okay, sorry guys, I had to pause the video because my little brother came in the room. But yeah, continuing on with the video. So, as I was saying, Naruto kept pressuring Kakashi with constant barrages of blows over and over and over and over again, starting to tire Kakashi out. And as I said before, I'm trying to make this more balanced, less of an OP what if. But honestly, you guys have seen what Obito and Madara were able to achieve when they went into their Ten Tails mode. So honestly, this younger Naruto, even being so young, I guess, he's still extremely powerful. And I would definitely say that in his full Ten Tails power mode, Naruto is way stronger than first half of Naruto Kakashi, right? As eventually, after so much fighting, Naruto started to forget what he was even fighting about. He forgot about the bells, he forgot about everything, and the only thing he could think about was kill, 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 as he just continued to throw punch after punch after punch after punch at Kakashi. And even though Naruto had nearly zero technique, just his overwhelming speed and strength were enough to tire Kakashi out enough that eventually he just gave up, realizing that he couldn't keep on doing this for longer, and if he went on with this fight any longer, Naruto would eventually lose complete control. So he decided just to give up and just gave him the bell, saying that he won. Naruto was definitely surprised at this. I mean, he didn't expect Kakashi to give up, as he just stopped for a moment, paused, went back to reality, kind of snapped out of the sort of thing he was in, and he's started taking breaths, and he was like, "What was that?" As Kakashi said, "I don't know, but you're definitely a strong fighter." And also, Sasuke, Sakura, I know you're hiding there in the bush, but next time try to contribute a bit more. As they both came back out of the bushes, being I mean, we were planning on doing something, but Naruto just kind of did all the work. As Kakashi says, well, I guess you're right. Now, with that concludes the bell test, and Team 7 officially became, a team, Team 7. And with that, they start going on simple D-rank missions where they help the cat cross the road, whatever, that sort of stuff. All the really simple things that Genin do when they first join a team, that sort of stuff. But I mean, you have the 10 Tails Jinchuriki himself, and you're gonna send him on D-rank missions? Really sounds like a Hiruzen sort of thing to do. But yeah, so when Naruto eventually got tired of these D-rank missions and asked Hiruzen for a harder mission, he didn't really have much of a reason to say no. And he gave them the C-rank mission, an escort mission to escort Tazuna to the Land of Waves, which Naruto happily accepted, honestly. He had no problem with, at least he got to get out the village. So the next day, they all met up at the gate, met up with Tazuna, and they were all ready to go to the Land of Waves. So they went off on their way, walking in under the scorching hot sun, and somehow, even though they were walking through the forest, they just still couldn't get the enjoyment of the shade that the trees provided, because they were walking in the path instead of in the forest itself, which meant that it was just them, the sky, and the sun. Which is why when Kakashi saw a puddle coming by, he definitely noticed the demon brothers hiding in it. Not the demon brothers hiding in it, but definitely that something was odd about it, because it hadn't rained in really long. Now, as they were walking by, the demon brothers immediately popped out of the puddle, trying to attack Kakashi and Naruto. And Naruto was quick to react, punching the demon brother in the gut, making him fly into a tree and get knocked out cold, while the other demon brother attacked Kakashi, seemingly killing him. And Naruto realized he was there as well, as he just instinctively, kind of as a reflex, his body just moved on his own as he started going straight at the next demon brother, and before he knew it, he had knocked him out as well with a single punch. At this point, we might as well be calling him One Punch Man. Not really, but like, Ten Tails Naruto kind of just has zero difficulty dealing with some of the earlier enemies in the game. Not the game, the series. Sorry, got it confused with something else. But Kakashi went out of the bushes, revealing that he hadn't actually died, as Naruto hadn't even realized that Kakashi had been quote-unquote killed in the heat of the battle that lasted like 5 seconds, but still, it was a battle nonetheless. And although Kakashi did get a little suspicious of Tazuna, I can't speak, guys, I'm sorry. Suspicious of Tazuna, and questioned him, and decided like maybe he should question him about the true nature of this mission. He decided to hold off on that for now, which was, of course, until the fog started coming in. You guys already know what it is. It's Zabuza. And Tazuna, not expecting this, was just like, yeah, this is the hidden mist village. Of course there's gonna be some mist. Like, where else do you expect to find mist? But honestly, Kakashi was easily able to sense that there was something off with this mist. And actually, so was Naruto, as he pointed out that there was some chakra coming from up ahead, as Kakashi said, noted. And he suddenly noticed the blade flying out at them, as he said, duck, and everybody ducked down as Zabuza's executioner blade started flying straight over their heads, and sliced into a tree, as Zabuza ended up landing on it. Now, seeing Zabuza, Naruto just asked Kakashi, "Is he an enemy?" And Kakashi said, "Yeah." And Naruto said, "So we're gonna have to fight." As a smirk crawled on his face, getting excited to finally be able to fight another strong opponent. But at the same time, he was both excited for the battle, but he was also kind of scared, worried, because of that feeling that he knew would come of being overwhelmed by the power of the Ten Tails. It was almost like he loved fighting, but every time he did fight, it would also have consequences, and he didn't know what to think. Either way, as Zabuza came in and started attacking Kakashi, Naruto joined in, helping him with the battle. Now, meanwhile, Kakashi just said, leave Zabuza to me. You guys just watch. I'll show you what... he does that thing where he's like, I'll show you what a Jonin is capable of. And then he ends up getting himself trapped in the water prison jutsu. Except in this version, it doesn't happen. Because since he already had to reveal Sharingan fighting against Naruto, he decides to use his Sharingan from the beginning, just to play it safe and doesn't be an idiot like the first time he fought Zabuza. Because of this, when Zabuza thinks he put Kakashi in the the water prison jutsu, Kakashi actually had him under a genjutsu, and using that, Kakashi was able to gain the upper hand, escape, and just start fighting back. And while that was happening, Naruto noticed another presence, that presence being Haku's. As he pointed it out, and Sasuke and Naruto decided to check it out. Haku, noticing that he had been found, and also realizing that Zabuza was in trouble, so Zabuza probably needed his help anyway, decided to reveal himself, and, said, what, I'll take out these two first, it shouldn't be too hard, and then after that, I can help Master Zabuza out. As Sasuke and Haku started fighting this time, Sasuke saying that, I won't let Naruto get all the credit, being like, normal Sasuke, being like, yeah, I won't let Naruto be better than me this time, doing that entire thing. But really, it doesn't make a difference, as Naruto helps join in the fight as well, and Sasuke was actually kind of able to keep up with Haku in their original battle. But Haku is stronger than Sasuke, but when you put Naruto into the thing as well, now it's a 2v1, I think that's when Haku started getting really overwhelmed and decided to use the Ice Mirror's jutsu, as they were both surprised by what had just happened, and they were trying to understand what the Ice Mirrors were, as Sasuke just threw a fireball at the Ice Mirrors, but nothing happened. They didn't melt, break, nothing. As Haku suddenly appeared from all of the mirrors saying, you'll have to do a lot better than that to destroy these mirrors. They're made with a special type of ice, not the normal type of ice you'd know. You can't just destroy it with a fireball. And with that, Haku started throwing Senbon at them from all directions, as Naruto was able to dodge them, and easily at that, because he was just able to continuously keep dodging all of the Senbon. And Sasuke, although he was having way more trouble than Naruto, and actually started getting hit a little bit, he was still able to mostly dodge it as well. As normally, after unlocking his One Tomoe Sharingan, Sasuke was able to start to keep track of Haku's movement through the mirrors. But Naruto, in this case, having the 10 tails, I know, right? Like 10 tails equals OP. I don't know what you were expecting, but yeah. he's able to keep track of Haku's movement through the mirrors, and the instant he gets the opportunity, he goes straight at Haku while he's going in between mirrors and almost hits him, as Haku is immediately shocked, realizing that this kid's potential is probably way higher than his, Zabuza's, and Kakashi's combined, and starts taking this battle more seriously, realizing that he probably won't be able to beat Naruto, but if he can lure him out and then take care of Sasuke, at least then it'll be a little easier. So again, Haku goes switching from mirror to mirror, this time being more careful just not to get hit by Naruto, as Naruto falls for it, just jumping straight at Haku, trying to land a punch to the face, but barely missing by a centimeter or two. As the instant Naruto is right there and Haku moves into the next mirror, he throws as many senbon as he possibly can at Sasuke. And Naruto realizes his mistake and looks back as a Sasuke covered in senbon drops to the ground, seemingly dead. For a moment, Naruto just stands there, pauses, taking in what just happened, as this is followed by a moment of silence. Nobody speaks, nobody moves, as Naruto just crouches down next to Sasuke, and then, in a speed that shocks Haku, he turns around, giving Haku a death stare that makes Haku crap his pants, just scares the living daylights out of Haku, as Naruto just stares at him and says, "You did this. You did this to him. You were responsible for his death. And now, I'll make you pay." As suddenly, Naruto completely loses himself, as Naruto no longer has any control and the Ten-Tail takes over, absolutely shattering the ice mirrors, as he starts, the Ten-Tails at this point starts beating up Haku relentlessly. And before Haku can even get a chance to comprehend what is going on, he gets brutally murdered by Naruto. As Naruto is suddenly in a dark room, floor is wet, and in front of him is a cage. He looks up to the cage saying, "Where am I? What happened?" As the Ten-Tail says, "Your friend died. Don't you want revenge?" And Naruto says, I don't remember anything." And the Ten-Tail just says, Naruto just repeats the question again, saying, "Who are you?" And the Ten-Tail says, "Have you ever wondered why your skin was pale and white, and why you were different from all the other kids?" And Naruto takes a moment to consider this, and suddenly it all clicks for him, because he always thought, he hasn't always explained it as, it's some sort of genetics, you have this special ability, there's this beast inside you that you have to tame, using that sort of an analogy and stuff. And suddenly Naruto realizes that it's all because of this monster, the Ten-Tails. And he says, "So it's you? You're the one who's been causing me all this pain? You're the reason everybody in the village hates me?" As Naruto starts to have tears go down his eyes, as he screams at the Ten-Tails, as he says, "Why? Why would you do this to me?" As the Ten-Tails just chuckles, and actually a little surprised that Naruto isn't even scared at this point. He says, "Well, honestly, if I were you, I'd be grateful. I have provided you with power, beyond your imagination, and he gets cut off by Naruto saying, "At what cost? Every time I battle, I have to hold back on purpose, because I'm scared. I'm scared that you'll take over." As Naruto says, "Now leave me alone. I'm leaving." As just using his straight up willpower, he exits that area, and he snaps back as he just sees a bloody fist and Haku laying on the floor. As he says, "What have you done?" And he turns around looking at Sasuke as he runs back and just starts taking the Senbon out, checking Sasuke's pulse, just frantically looking for any signs that he's alive. As this is also about when Kakashi kills Zabuza using his Chidori, and Naruto just looks at Sasuke as he just slowly starts opening his eyes and says, "Naruto, is that you?" And Naruto says, "Thank God you're alive. For a moment I thought you were dead." And Sasuke just chuckles and he says, "You think I'd die that early? I had a promise, said I'd surpassed you. I'm not gonna die until I do that. So don't worry, I'm not planning on dying anytime soon." As he tries to get up, but fails, as Kakashi arrives telling him to stay down, they'll carry him. And with that, they go to Tasuna's house, have a good meal, continue building the bridge, take care of Gato. I'm not even gonna go over the whole Gato thing, because he's so weak that he doesn't even need to get covered. He just gets destroyed. And the bridge gets built, named the Great Naruto Bridge, and the Team 7 heads back to the Leaf Village. So last time we left off, Naruto and Team 7 were just coming back from the Land of Waves after, helping Tazuna build his bridge. And they headed to Hiruzen's area, where Kakashi proceeded to tell Hiruzen all about the mission and about what Naruto did, and just explained everything in detail, how the mission was actually probably way harder than a C rank mission, at least B or A rank. And, Hiruzen was like, okay, and paid them for, what the mission would have been. Now, he also said, Kakashi, your team seems pretty strong, I guess. And I was wondering if maybe you would like to have Team 7 participate in the Chuunin exams. And Kakashi said, yeah, actually I was planning on asking them if they want to participate now. As Hiruzen said, good, but you can only join under one condition. As Kakashi asked what it was, Hiruzen said, you have to help Naruto train and help him control the Ten Tails. Because if he fails to do that, it might lead to a lot of deaths, and we don't want that. So if he can learn to control the Ten Tails, at least a bit, that'll be enough, and they can participate in the Chuunin exams. But if he can't, then you're out of luck. So Kakashi, understanding this, went to Team 7, asked them if they wanted to be in the Chuunin exams, to which all of them obviously replied with, yeah, of course. And after all of the others went home, Kakashi went with Naruto to help him train to control the Ten Tails. And so they head over to Naruto's house, where Kakashi is surprised by how small his house is and the lack of good food he has in his house, like the spoiled ramen, just the tiny room. And he actually just really feels bad for Naruto at this point. Like, why would somebody make Naruto live in this tiny apartment? And just thinking about that, he realizes, we have to train Naruto. As for the next week that they have, Naruto trains with Kakashi, trying to meditate and re-enter that mindscape where he talked to the Ten Tails. And he actually manages to do it 1 or 2 times. And, the interactions don't go so great, I gotta say. But still, Naruto does start to get a little bit more control on trying to suppress the influence of the Ten Tails. And it's just, he trains with, while fighting, keeping his emotions, at bay. Kind of like Goku with Ultra Instinct. He's trying to fight with, no emotions, because the Ten Tails can kind of leverage that to take over and multiply those emotions, which is obviously what they don't want. And after that, Kakashi tells about all the progress they made to Hiruzen, and Hiruzen says, you know what, sure, participate. I really can't stop him from participating in the Chuunin exams. If anything, he's already past Chuunin level. And with that, they head off to the Chuunin exams. Now, after going past the Genjutsu, and also going past Rock Lee, because Rock Lee, in this Naruto, did challenge Sasuke, but they decided to fight later. Mostly, both because Sasuke was smart this time and want to save his energy for later in the Chuunin exams, and also because I'm really tired of going over that fight, and I couldn't be bothered, so plot, deal with it. I'm the narrator here. So, with that, they move on to the first part of the Chuunin exams, where they meet Ibiki. And Ibiki explains to them that this is the first part of the Chuunin exams, as he says that the first portion will be a written exam. And out of all of the things that he could have given them, this was the worst for Naruto. Now, Sasuke and Sakura were able to start answering questions on the test, while Naruto couldn't get a single one. And this went on until Ibiki eventually announced the 10th question, saying that all of the previous 9 actually didn't matter. It was a tactical deception, or whatever he calls it. I don't remember. Just test their will, or I don't remember. And honestly, I don't really care. But he says that this is the 10th question, and if you take it and you fail, you cannot take the Chuunin exams ever again. And if you do pass, you pass. And Naruto, being the same stubborn, kind of an idiot Naruto we know him to be in the original, he does decide to stay. And also gives the entire speech about how they worked hard to, come to the Chuunin exams, and they're not going to give up now, or whatever, even though it's still the first part, but yeah. Which does convince a couple more people to stay, as Ibiki says, okay, well, that was another tactical deception. As you see, there was no 10th question. And everybody's just like, well, I'm done with this guy. But this is when Anko blasts in through the window, saying, hello, join me in the Forest of Death for the second part of the Chuunin exams. And everyone's like, oh, second part of the Chuunin exams, that's pretty good. So we passed, I guess. And Ibiki's just like, Anko, there's a door for a reason. Please don't break through the window. It costs money to repair those, As Anko could care less, and couldn't care less. Could care less? Couldn't care less? Yeah, couldn't care less. I don't know why I say could care less. Couldn't care less. And just continues talking. She's like, come on, come to the Forest of Death. It's like, do you want to be disqualified? As everyone's like, oh, okay, we're coming. As they all meet up there. And so when they all met up at the Forest of Death, Anko announced, talked about the rules of this entire thing, and she was like, yeah, so this is the second stage of the Chuunin exams, if you couldn't already tell. And what's gonna happen is you're both gonna get all teams are gonna get a scroll. It's gonna be either the Heaven Scroll or the Earth Scroll. I can't speak, but I think those were what it was called, Heaven and Earth. And you're trying to get both scrolls. Now, the way you get it is by taking it from the other teams, obviously, and killing is allowed. That statement just shocks like half of the crowd as they start murmuring. And she's like, what, you're scared of killing? Okay. Well then, I don't think you'll mind being disqualified. As everybody just kind of shuts up. As she's like, okay, so you just have to sign this form that says it doesn't matter if you die because people die. And yeah, go to your areas. As, you know, Team 7 signs the form, gets a scroll, and everybody heads off to their area. Now, as Anko tells them all to start the Chuunin exams, Team 7 proceeds to go into the Forest of Death. As immediately after like 10 minutes, they come across a guy, and it happened to be a solo person. Now, he wasn't quite carrying any scrolls on him, but it seemed that he was just scouting for his team. So Team 7 decided to fight him, and although he was kinda like, he was really just like a not important character in the lore, and you know, it really wasn't hard for Team 7 to really take care of him, especially because they have Naruto on there, as he barely managed to retreat. Now, Sasuke having the better tracking skills, I guess, of the two, and Naruto having good chakra detection, they were together able to follow this guy to his team. And once he arrived there, to where his team was, after following them for a while and making the other team think that they had lost them, eventually they ambushed them, jumping them, taking their scroll, as it happened to be just the scroll they needed. Now, at this point, they were already on record pace to just finish this entire exam, honestly. Like, they were going so fast. It had only been like an hour since they made it in, and they already had the scrolls. This could almost be a record. But as they started to make the long journey all the way to the center of the Forest of Death, they came across someone else. And this person happened to be Orochimaru. Of course, in a disguise, but still Orochimaru. And now Orochimaru seeing Sasuke, Orochimaru's intentions were originally to take care of Sasuke, but he just came in looking for Sasuke, and then he was like, Sasuke, as his eyes fell on Naruto, and he said, no, it can't be. Is it really him? As Orochimaru sees Naruto and immediately recognizes that he's the Ten-Tailed Jinchuriki. And this shocks him completely because, honestly, it's just, he had never thought that, he would come across the Ten-Tailed Jinchuriki after all. Back when he was in the Akatsuki, they had managed to get the Ten-Tails, and eventually it was defeated by Minato. And the whereabouts and what had happened to the Ten-Tails after that were not known to anybody. But now, he saw Naruto. After years and years and years of, never seeing the Ten-Tails again, there it was, in front of his eyes. As Orochimaru instantly took advantage of this and said, Sasuke, you're powerful, but Naruto has way more potential. He will be a great part of my plan. As he immediately rushes in at Naruto, trying to bite him in the neck, like first thing, right? Trying to put the curse mark in. But Naruto manages to dodge out the way, which kind of shocks Orochimaru, but he decides to start fighting. Now this is when Sasuke awakens his One Tomori Sharingan and starts fighting back with Orochimaru. And Sakura Yeah, she doesn't really help. And Naruto just tells her to stay back, and they both start fighting Orochimaru. 2-on-1. Now, Sasuke in the original with 2 Tomoes was actually able to keep up with Orochimaru quite decently. And this is what happens here as well. After a lot of fighting, Orochimaru eventually is able to get Sasuke with a kunai. And right when he's about to get Sasuke with a powerful attack, he awakens his 2 Tomoe Sharingan, which is part of Orochimaru's plan because he wanted to make Sasuke awaken his Sharingan before he ended up placing the curse mark on him. So after Sasuke was able to awaken his 2 Tomoe, they became even more powerful. And after about a minute of fighting, Orochimaru realized his mistake. He allowed Sasuke to gain even more power, which basically made him kind of ignore the biggest threat at hand, Naruto. Now, don't get me wrong, Naruto is not very experienced, not very old, not very high in chakra control and knowledge or anything, but he is the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. Now, being the 10 Tails Jinchuriki isn't like being the 9 Tails Jinchuriki, where sometimes if the 9 Tails wants to, it can give you like a tail of the club. No, when you have the 10 Tails, you are constantly in like the 10 Tails mode. You can't like turn the 10 Tails on and off, and it doesn't have like modes. There was just one god 10 Tails mode. And now imagine like 10 Tails mode is stronger than KCM2 plus Sage mode. You can't argue with that. So imagine Naruto being KCM2 plus Sage mode at this age. He would still be so broken. And Naruto, without even a single tail cloak, just Kurama influence, was able to stop one of Orochimaru's snakes. So I'm actually really confident in saying Orochimaru would be getting destroyed here. As a last-ditch effort, he would extend his neck, trying to bite Naruto and give him the curse mark. As Naruto, not seeing this coming, gets bitten. And as his neck is extended, Sasuke jumps in and cuts his neck in half with a kunai, killing Orochimaru. But also, in the meantime, Naruto drops to the ground as he holds his neck in pain. And this black almost thing starts appearing on his neck as he can feel this different chakra trying to take control of him, as he can hear voices in his head saying, "Naruto, come to me, join me, lend me your power, and I will make you stronger than you could have ever imagined." As Naruto, unlike Sasuke not having wanted this power, is like, no, and suddenly a huge burst of chakra appears on him, and the curse mark fails as it starts to boil on his neck and eventually disappears. Now, this was because if Naruto was normally trying to fight the curse mark just with his willpower, it wouldn't have worked. The curse mark's chakra is more powerful than Sasuke at the time, and Sasuke was arguably stronger than Naruto at the time, in the original series, of course. But Naruto having the 10 tails inside of him basically makes him immune to the curse mark, because the 10 tails chakra automatically counters that other chakra coming from Orochimaru, destroying the curse mark. So anyways, with that, Team 7 just heads on to finish the exam, having gotten their scrolls, and yeah. Anyway, sorry for the pauses, but after everybody who passed, made it to that final part, the proctor announced that actually they were gonna have to hold preliminary rounds because too many people passed the second part of the Chuunin exams. Now, this really isn't much of a big deal because Naruto does have the 10 tails, and in his match against Shikamaru, sorry guys, my brain just isn't functioning properly today, but in his match against Kiba, there's really not much to cover. Kiba just goes into the arena being like, yeah, I'm gonna prove I'm strong, I'm gonna prove I can beat Naruto. He's thinking whatever foolish thoughts he is thinking, and goes up against Naruto, immediately going in for a full power Fang over Fang. Now, if you know the abilities of the Ten Tails, you already know how this battle is gonna end. Naruto just stands there like a freaking Chad and takes the hit from the Fang over Fang, and he just stands there as he says, "Is that all you got?" After his strongest attack, he's just standing there, not wounded in the slightest, saying, "Is that all you got?" And Kiba takes that personally as he goes in for another Fang over Fang, and another, and another, and another, and Naruto doesn't even flinch. And Kiba just keeps on hitting him, till he literally runs out of breath. As Naruto says, "Done? You done?" And Kiba just pants as Naruto kicks him in the face, sending him flying into the wall and knocking him out. I mean, I don't know what you were expecting. Except for that, all the other matches go the same, with Sasuke winning his match even easier because this time he doesn't have the curse mark. Pretty simple, I know. And with that, they say that everyone is going to have a 1 month break, a training period, let's say, before the final part of the Chuunin exam, where they will all have to fight. And everybody just gets to leave. Now, Naruto back at his house decides, yeah, he's definitely strong enough to win. I mean, he watched everybody else in the preliminary rounds. None of them are stronger than him. Of course, Rock Lee and Gaara's fight was quite amazing, but he doesn't think he'll have much problem facing Gaara. So, anyway, Naruto decides to just relax and go to the hot springs. So, he gets his stuff, goes out the house, and starts going on a walk all the way over to the hot springs, taking his secret long route through the forest just not to get spotted by any of the villagers, because the villagers don't really like him. But anyway, after he makes it to the hot springs, he's just walking toward the front door as somebody from the crowd behind him recognizes him, as they just stand there, first noticing Naruto's white skin, pale, well, everything actually, and just the immense amount of chakra floating around his body, as he suddenly realizes who this is. This is Naruto, and he doesn't remember. Okay, so I'm gonna apologize, and I'm also gonna try to make this brief. So my computer's glitching. It keeps randomly stopping the recording. It just keeps crashing. I restarted my recording thing, but that just ruined the entire dramatic build-up I was aiming for. Anyway, I'm gonna keep it quick so that it doesn't lag and stop recording again. But basically, what I was trying to say is he went up to Naruto, tapped him on the shoulder, said, "Hey Naruto, it's been a long time." And that's how the episode was supposed to end, and it's supposed to be cool, and it was supposed to be a cliffhanger, but it didn't work. So yeah. So we start this video off right around when Jiraiya meets Naruto. Now, of course, Jiraiya recognizes Naruto with his, he's the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. How can you not recognize him? He is the physically most recognizable person on this entire earth, probably. I don't know. But yeah. So, anyways, with that, Jiraiya just goes up to Naruto, and he starts a conversation talking about, how actually he is Naruto's godfather, and he would like to train Naruto, try to help him control the powers of the Ten Tails. And at this point, two things are going through Naruto's mind. One of them being, bro, where was this guy when I was literally living by myself in my own house from paycheck to paycheck from Hiruzen as a freaking 5-year-old? Like, it's weird. And he's thinking, bro, this man, where was he when I needed him most? But also, he's like, yo, free training, get to control the Ten Tails, sounds like a great deal to me, so I'm in. So, with that being said, they all head off, they both head off, going out into the forest somewhere. It doesn't really matter where, it's just somewhere in the forest, that's really all you have to know. And they get the training. Now, basically what Jiraiya teaches Naruto to do first is develop some at least basic chakra control, because Naruto really doesn't have any of that. Now, he starts off with tree walking, which by itself takes him an entire day of just to walk on a tree. It takes him an entire day, plus help from Jiraiya every step of the way, because he has the Ten Tails in him, and the entire Ten Tails, so you can see how that would affect one's chakra control very much. I mean, we know what happened to Naruto in the original with half of the 9 tails, so I can only assume. But either way, with tree walking down, the next day they move on to water walking, which is harder, but this actually takes Naruto a little bit less. Since they start training early in the morning, they can finish it by around, let's say, 4 p.m. It really doesn't matter, just that's the amount of time approximately it took him to learn water walking. From there, Jiraiya says, good, you've learned pretty well. Now it's time to move on to something a little more advanced, let's say, as Jiraiya makes him sign the blood contract seal, whatever it's called, with the toads, and starts teaching him how to summon toads. As Naruto, after 5 attempts, gets pretty mad at himself for not being able to summon the biggest toad. Now, he has been summoning tiny toads, but nothing big, as he kind of starts raging, and he's just like, damn it, why can't I summon anything big? I have so much chakra, I should be able to channel it, as he pushes all of his chakra into his hand, as he slams it into the ground and says, come on! And suddenly, out of nowhere, pops out Gamabunta, the biggest toad of them all, which genuinely really shocks Jiraiya. I mean, come on, he summoned the biggest toad on his 6th attempt. It is something to be impressed by, honestly. But yeah, with that, they continued their training. I'm not gonna go over all of their training, but they trained for that basically entire month. Week, I think, right? Week, month. It doesn't matter that much. Let's say a month. They train for the entire month, and Naruto just works on learning everything that Jiraiya is teaching him. Now they start working on the Rasengan, but Naruto doesn't master it, so not yet. I'm not gonna make him that OP yet. He is already OP, but still. And with that, it's time for the final part of the Chuunin exams. And Naruto gets there pretty early, unlike Sasuke. Who barely makes it in time for it. No, he's very late for his own match. But yeah. So he makes it on time, and the first fight is between him and Neji. Now, Naruto had a little bit of a grudge against Neji, because Neji did, in fact, hurt Hinata in the preliminaries, and Naruto didn't quite forgive him for that. And he didn't forget about it either. So, in this match, Neji just sort of went on about destiny and how he was gonna, win this no matter what. like whatever Naruto did, Neji was destined to. Like, he does his whole speech. You guys already know what he says. I don't really need to go over it. As Naruto just stands there being like, bro, is this guy ever gonna stop talking? As Naruto just says, are you done yet? Like, should I just keep waiting? I thought I was here to, like, fight or something. As Neji gets pretty angered by this and comes at Naruto with, wow, that sounded wrong. Comes at Naruto. He runs. He runs at Naruto full speed, going in with his gentle palm attack. As he goes straight at Naruto, striking him with the gentle fist, blocking off his chakra points. Now, if there's anything we learned from the original Naruto, it's that the Nine-Tails chakra doesn't get affected by the chakra points, which was how Naruto in the original was kind of able to clap Neji. But here, Naruto, well, first of all, he has way more control over his tailed beast than in the original in this What If, and also his tailed beast is like 5 times stronger, right, than the Nine-Tails. So what happens is Naruto just sits there like a Chad, taking all of the gentle fist blows as Neji does a 64 palms attack, and Naruto literally just stands there as on Neji's final gentle fist, Naruto just grabs his wrist and snaps it. Like, Neji just goes in for another attack as Naruto just grabs his wrist and bends it in a way that it definitely shouldn't be bending, as Neji's arm just like snaps, breaks, just gets destroyed, honestly. And yeah, with that, Naruto wins his battle. Yeah, pretty simple. Also, guys, if you're hearing a lot of sorry about that, if that hurt your ears and you're wearing headphones, if you're hearing a lot of that sort of going into the mic, I'm sorry. I'm trying this new thing where it removes a lot of background noise, but I have to hold it way closer to my mouth, so if there's any air coming into the mic, you'll just have to excuse me for that. But either way, all of the other matches go on as well, this being, let's say, Sasuke, well, not yet, but like all of the Temari versus Shikamaru, the one where like Kankuro forfeits, etc., etc. Now, this keeps going on, and the reason Kankuro still forfeits because he doesn't know, and all of the Sand Ninja are waiting for the signal, from Orochimaru. Unfortunately, for the Sand Village, there's a little something going on with Orochimaru. I don't know if you guys remember, but he kind of got his head sliced off. Like a little inconvenience for Orochimaru. I mean, he can just come back from the dead, but like, just got his head sliced off, no big deal. But they're definitely not going to be getting that signal to attack anytime soon. So, yeah. Konoha Crush doesn't happen. Surprise, surprise. I mean, there's no Orochimaru to lead it, so it doesn't happen. With that, the Chuunin exams go on as normal, and as the rounds go on and on and on, Naruto and Sasuke are left to fight each other at the final. Now, I'm not covering the other fights, and you guys might be like, oh, how do they end up going against each other? That's just plot, that's not logical. But actually, it really much is logical, because I feel like there's only 3 people watching this video who actually care about this explanation. But Naruto went first in the Chuunin exams, and this is like original, it's like canon version. Naruto went first, Sasuke went last, and with that logic, Gaara was Sasuke's strongest opponent, so Sasuke was able to beat Gaara, and because of that, I feel like Sasuke wouldn't lose to anyone else, and Naruto wouldn't definitely lose to anyone else either, which means they have to face each other at the finals. It just adds up. Just trust me. But yeah. Either way, we skip to the finals where there's Naruto versus Sasuke. Now you guys might be waiting for some intense battle where Sasuke finally gets his revenge on Naruto. I mean, don't get your hopes up. We're talking about a 10 Tails Naruto. Like, when somebody is a 10 Tails Jinchuriki, not even Sage of Six Paths Sasuke and Sage of Six Paths Naruto combined could beat them. So I really don't think that a Genin Sasuke will be able to beat a 10 Tails Naruto. It really just does not make sense in the slightest. So with that, I'm just going to be wrapping it all up to be Sasuke throws a fireball jutsu, throws some shuriken, throws some kunai. They all land on Naruto, and Sasuke's like, haha, I win. But then Naruto just comes out of the smoke, pulls all the kunai and shuriken out of him as the wounds magically heal because, 10 Tails can magically heal like limbs, just regenerate limbs, full Orochimaru mode, I know. And Naruto just one punches Sasuke. I feel like this is becoming a theme now. Naruto's kind of becoming a One Punch Man. Was this what I intended for this what if? Not really. Should I have expected this? Yeah, definitely. But you clicked on this video, so you kind of saw this coming too. If you were expecting for some tough battles for Naruto, you should have clicked on what if Naruto had Storm release? That's gonna be more. Actually, comment if I should do that. I'm not sure. I might do it sometime. But sorry, went on a little rant there. Naruto wins the Chuunin exams, I guess. He wins the Chuunin exam. Yeah, he wins the Chuunin exams and gets promoted to Chuunin, along with Shikamaru and Sasuke, for the reasons of, if you remember, you don't actually have to win to be promoted. Like, Shikamaru got promoted to Chuunin even though he lost in the first round. And they did nothing except for the first round anyway. But that round was enough to get him promoted in the original where the Konoha Crush happened. So, I find it really reasonable that, sorry, lost my train of thought there, but both Sasuke and Naruto pass. Of course, Sakura doesn't, because she's not even in here. She's useless. Yeah. So, with that, Naruto becomes a Chuunin, Sasuke also becomes a Chuunin, and all of Orochimaru's plans are foiled. I mean, an entire 2 arcs, not arcs, but yeah, sort of arcs, don't even happen, because Orochimaru both couldn't get a proper curse mark off on anyone, and also his head kind of got chopped off, so yeah. I gotta stop saying so yeah, but, so yeah. Now, around now is when Naruto, and actually in this version joined by Sasuke, head off with Jiraiya to find Tsunade. Now, Naruto going with Jiraiya starts teaching him the Rasengan, and having already gone some progress, he actually manages to master the Rasengan before they can even reach Tsunade. Of course, right around then is also when they're staying in a hotel room, and this actually is, oh sorry, hiccups, that's gonna be terrible, but this actually isn't too far from the original, because normally when they're in the hotel and Itachi and Kisame come and attack them, Sasuke is there as well because he came to find Itachi. So when this happens here, it's not really that much different from the original. And basically what happens is Naruto fights against Itachi and Kisame, sort of holding his own, but not really, while Sasuke just gets completely bodied by Itachi and basically gets knocked out and needs medical attention because Sasuke kind of just likes to do stuff like that and get himself hurt for absolutely no reason, even though he knew he couldn't win that fight. Yeah, that was a long sentence. But this is also around when Jiraiya ends up showing up, because he totally wasn't going around doing stuff that he shouldn't have been doing and wasting all of Naruto's money and using it for, And Jiraiya basically ends up saving all of them using the toad stomach thingy jutsu. I don't know its name exactly, as this causes Itachi and Kisame to flee, just like they did in the original. After this, Naruto and Sasuke, and well, actually Naruto and Jiraiya, because they leave Sasuke behind so he can get like medical attention, right? They just go off in search of Tsunade, which is when they happen to go into a bar, just to rest the night, because they've been traveling for a while and they're in about the village that Tsunade should be, so they decide, yeah, let's go into this bar, we can eat dinner here. Of course, because of plot and anime logic, Tsunade happened to be there. So as they were eating, they just heard like this person like screaming from one of the back tables, like not screaming, but like being really loud, and it sort of started disturbing them, honestly, just like she was clearly drunk, but Jiraiya got up anyway to, tell her to be quiet or like leave, as Naruto decided to follow him as well. As when he was about to do that, he saw that this person was none other than Tsunade herself. Drunk, of course, because she had lost a lot of money again while gambling. Classic Tsunade. As this is when Jiraiya proceeded to tell Tsunade about what, he just proceeded to tell Tsunade that Hiruzen was getting old. Remember, he didn't die, actually. He did not die. I forgot to clarify this, but he didn't die. Konoha Crush didn't happen, but Hiruzen still decided he wasn't quite fit enough for this job anymore, and that, since Jiraiya was in town, he could be the new Hokage. But as we all know, Jiraiya turned this down and offered to have Tsunade as the Hokage instead, which is kind of why they went on this whole thing. In the original, of course, Hiruzen died, which kind of led to this, but here, Hiruzen is more just retiring. Either way, Jiraiya tells Tsunade all about it, as Tsunade just starts laughing. And this is when she proceeds to do her entire speech, where she disrespects all of the Hokage, and ends up angering Naruto. And this is when Naruto counters her speech with his own speech about how great the Hokage are, and as they start having an argument, Tsunade decides to say, okay, Naruto, well, let's go outside, shall we not, okay, shouldn't we? That sounds so cringe, but just deal with it. As she says, look, if you land a hit on me, I'll come to the village, I'll become the Hokage, but if I manage to beat you first with a single finger, then you guys have to leave me alone, and that's done. As Naruto just smirks and says, deal. As he just stands there in his casual fashion, as Tsunade's like, what is this kid doing? As she just runs at Naruto, and then right as Tsunade was running at Naruto, just disappeared from her line of sight. She's just like, wait, where'd he go? What did he do? As she starts looking around, remember, she's drunk, she can't really think well, she's just like frantically sort of looking around, trying to see any signs of Naruto. As suddenly Naruto pops up from behind her, smacking her down into the ground. And honestly, that's a win. Of course, Naruto could beat Tsunade up a bit more, but there's really no need for that. I mean, after all, a deal is a deal, and Tsunade, although not very happy about it, does end up having to come to the Leaf Village and becoming the Hokage. Also, on her trip back to the village, she takes care of Sasuke, healing all of his wounds. Of course, remember, once again, Orochimaru isn't here because guess what? He just happened to have his head get chopped off. Getting a reoccurring pattern here, aren't we? But Orochimaru does actually end up coming back around now. Right around when the time skip happens and Naruto is off training with Jiraiya, getting his Nine Tails training, maybe learning some like Rasen Shurikens, learning Sage Mode, and you guys might be like, wait, Naruto doesn't learn that. Yeah, he shouldn't be learning that stuff. That's way later in the series. But honestly, Naruto has, what, 2-3 years time skip? Like, I mean, no, if I, no, let's say Naruto gets, like, a 4-year time skip, right? And, in that time skip, Naruto gets extra time, so he also gets extra time to train and learn new stuff like the Rasen Shuriken and also Sage Mode, which is very reasonable because remember, Naruto learns Sage Mode in a week. So an extra year, in my opinion, is more than enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can argue with that. But this is also enough time for Orochimaru to come back to life because, Orochimaru doesn't die a lot, but when he does die, he always comes back to life. I mean, this is Orochimaru we're talking about. This man has evaded death, tried to control death, become immortal, died, revived, and Orochimaru lore is complicated, okay? And I'm not planning on getting into that, so all I'll say is Orochimaru, he wants to get his hands on Sasuke and Naruto to be his vessels because all he wants is power, selfish needs, and he has, at this point has realized that he can't really beat Naruto and Sasuke as a team by himself, and this is why he decided he'll have to get himself a team as well. Now, at this point in the series, there's only one group of people who can actually take on somebody like Naruto, and that would be the Akatsuki themselves, who have been searching for the Ten Tails for, well, years now, actually. Years and years. Now, Kisame and Itachi did actually end up seeing Naruto, but Itachi, because he didn't want Naruto to die, and he's actually still loyal to the Leaf Village, didn't actually tell the Akatsuki about this, and neither did Kisame, because plot reasons, but Orochimaru did, around the time after he got, resurrected or whatever. That is when he went to the Akatsuki and formed a team, as their goal was, so they form an alliance, the Akatsuki get Naruto and the Ten Tails, and Orochimaru gets Sasuke. It's really a win-win. Now, of course, there also happened to be one more person there at the time that deal was being made. That being our favorite spy, Jiraiya. We all know Jiraiya's entire role in the this Naruto series, except for when he's not helping Naruto, he is going and doing something about the Akatsuki, and that's just what Jiraiya does. And Jiraiya, hearing about this, just decides to train Naruto and train him so that he can fight against the Akatsuki and Orochimaru as an alliance. Now, oh god, I gotta stop saying now. Sometimes I keep saying a word over and over again. But this is around when Naruto comes back to the Leaf Village, and the day he comes back is also the day that the Akatsuki have decided to attack. So they know this attack is coming, and they have informed the Leaf Village of it. So what they have done is they have prepared a team of everyone in the Leaf Village, including Guy, Kakashi, Hiruzen, because he's still alive, but not in the greatest shape, but he is alive. He is still a great asset. Tsunade, Sakura, who's a little bit less useless now, Sasuke, Naruto, and the list just goes on. the Leaf Village does have a lot of talented fighters, and especially Naruto post-time skip, having actually gained quite a lot of control over the Ten Tails, is really, really powerful. Just trust me, guys. As the Akatsuki and Orochimaru arrive, assuming that they'd, be surprise attacking, but they just look at the Leaf Village border and see all of the Konoha villagers waiting there, waiting for them, as they realize that Leaf Village knew they were coming. But it's too late to turn around now, as all they can do is charge into battle, as an all-out war begins. So around here, I'm gonna be breaking all the fights, I guess, into parts. So Jiraiya and Sasuke maybe would be taking on Orochimaru. Guy would be taking on somebody like Kisame. Kakashi would be taking on another Akatsuki member, and so on and so forth. Just generally like that, so that all of the Konoha ninjas are matched up against an Akatsuki member. And this leaves Naruto to fight off against the Paths of Pain. And, of course, Obito, who is still kind of hiding in the shadows. And so this is when the battle starts. And Naruto actually, with ease, takes out some of the first Paths of Pain. As Pain sort of starts using all of his abilities, especially the path with the Diva path, the one with all the push-pull abilities, and so Naruto starts destroying all of them, because let's be realistic, Ten Tails mode is stronger than KCM2 by a long shot. Ten Tails mode is stronger than KCM2 plus Sage mode plus Sage of 6 path power. And Naruto, in this scenario, has Ten Tails mode plus Sage mode. And assuming that only Sage mode is enough to take care of the Paths of Pain, Naruto literally just stomps all over the Paths. The Paths of Pain don't stand a chance. They stab Naruto, cut off his limbs, but they freaking regrow. And Naruto is literally One Punch Man styling this, and he doesn't even care. He's just going through these guys, just destroying them, as they don't even stand a chance, all the way going up until Nagato finding him with his great chakra sensing abilities and finishing him off. Now, as he kills Naruto, Nagato, not Naruto, Nagato. That would be a plot twist, killing Naruto. He also notices Nagato's Rinnegan, which normally would be taken by Obito, but in this scenario is taken by Naruto, as Naruto, being the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, kind of feels that he is the rightful owner of this Rinnegan. I don't know why, Naruto logic, but that doesn't really matter why he took it. He wants to be more powerful, as he takes out his eyes, puts in the Rinnegan, as he just feels a crazy amount of power going through him. He's like, damn, these eyes are good. These eyes are way better than mine. And he also activates Sage mode as well with the Rinnegan, which is kind of you know how there's a dot at the center of the Rinnegan? Well, when you activate Sage mode, it makes that dot at the center become the line, the Sage mode line, and there's a bit of yellow at the middle of the Rinnegan. Just imagine that sort of. And Naruto at this point, being super overpowered, goes towards Obito, which he can now sense with his new eyes and his incredible chakra sensing ability. He's basically just going for Obito, as he also realizes this strange feeling, as for the first time, he is awakening his truth-seeking orbs. So yeah, Naruto finally awakens his truth-seeking orbs, and using both his truth-seeking orbs and the amount of power he already had, Naruto, well, he absolutely dominates Obito. Now, Obito in this fight doesn't have the Rinnegan, Naruto does. Obito doesn't have the Ten Tails, Naruto does. And Obito doesn't have his truth-seeking orbs, Naruto does. And this makes Naruto, uncontrollably OP, as even, as Obito tries to use his Kamui to kind of phase through Naruto's attacks. Naruto's attacks, combined with his truth-seeking orbs, are way too much for Obito to handle, as he just gets completely destroyed by Naruto. Meanwhile, all the other ninjas in Konoha manage to finish their fights as well, going up against the other Akatsuki members, and with that, the Leaf Village wins the battle. And that is going to be the end of today's What If. After all of this happens, Naruto moves on to become obviously the strongest Hokage ever, and lives happily. You guys know the deal. He lives happily ever after, until Boruto happens. But fortunately, guys, guess what? In this What If, Boruto doesn't happen. And with Boruto not happening, this also means that I will not have to go over all of the stuff that happens in Boruto and bore you guys to death. So yeah, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this What If. If you did watch all the way to the end of this What If, I really do hope that means I deserved a like and a subscribe, but really, that's up to you. Either way, goodbye, and I'll see you next time.